Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Chesapeake Thrive Show. Today we'll be discussing about Chesapeake Community Grants, and today I have Catherine Jesse from the Chesapeake Planning Department and Emily Edmonds from the Human Services. How are you both doing today?
Doing great.
We're doing great.
Great.
Doing really good.
Thank you both for joining me today to have this conversation about Chesapeake Community Grants. I know these grants are opportunity for different organizations to learn about funding and how to support projects that they may want to put out for the community. So can either one of you kind of explain to me exactly what those grants are that the city offers?
Okay. Well, I'll go. The city has two grants, the CDBG, which is the Community Development Block Grant, and the Home Grant, which is called the Home Investment Partnership Grant, and it's federal funding. And we get that every year to support our community organizations. Some of the things that we do is we help with affordable housing, new construction for folks that are eligible for new construction, as well as rental assistance. And then we also support different public service programs throughout the city.
And so I can give you a little background on the Human Services grants. And those grants support nonprofit organizations in the community that really help us get the work done. And so they correlate with the Chesapeake Thrives plan, with the priority areas. So it can range from a variety of projects, from home repair to school-age programs. So we work closely together with the planning department because they both correlate with Chesapeake Thrives, with that plan, as well as what city council's desired outcomes are.
Okay. So with what you were saying, Catherine, as far as like the different projects that you all offer for CDBG, so what other types of organizations or projects does CDBG and Home Grants funds for?
We work really closely with Habitat for Humanity, Southampton Roads, and so they usually will, work and they build a home once a year for someone who's income eligible, which is a fantastic project to be a part of. The people who move into the home who are eligible, they have to put their sweat equity into the home so that they're part of the build. They get financial counseling so that they can be productive and good homeowners. Some other projects we work with is down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, as well as we work with for kids and provide funding and support for their homeless response system. So,
Yes. So when can the public provide input into HUD, as such as like housing and urban development for Chesapeake's annual action plan?
yes, well, it's coming up. We have public input time from November 16th to December 15th, 2025. And the public input is very important to developing our annual action plan, which is a little different than the Thrives plan, but very similar in what we're working towards together. And so the public can provide that information either by coming to the planning department, by calling our number, which is 382-6176, or they can send an email to the planning department. We will also be having an open house together for both community grants where the public can provide input at that time as well.
And so we're working together for that, for one, because we do work closely together. It's important. We want everybody to know what funding is available within the city. These are just a small portion of what's available, but with the process of applying, it's very similar. We use the same platform and the same time frame, and even when it gets down to reviewing the applications, we work closely together. So the December 2nd open house gives the opportunity for them to have their public input, but also it's an opportunity for the nonprofits to come in to find out what's going on. They probably have a lot of questions. We want people to be aware of what's going on. They can come registration is not required, but if they do have some questions already that they'd like to send us, they can do that as well, but just find out what is it that we're looking for? What are things that can help strengthen their applications? What are information, what topics are we talking about? What are the desired outcomes that City Council is looking for? So we really want everybody to be aware. The goal is to have the more people to apply, because when we have the more applications and the projects, then it really helps strengthen the community and bring out information and support for everybody out there.
And really, I just wanted to just piggyback off of what you said, is we want to make the process as easy as possible, because it can feel pretty intimidating, especially when you apply for a federal grant. You have to provide a lot of information. And so working together, they can make a decision which grant is the best grant that would work for their organization.
Yes. Okay, so Would you say that for the open house, it is open to anyone that can come? Is there any stipulations or rules as far as any organizations that may not have be able to join you all in the open house?
No, we want as many people to come because even I know some people may be hesitant to say, well, I'm a new nonprofit. I'm not, this might just be your opportunity to say, well, okay, maybe this period might not be the one for you. But now that I've come and I found out what it looks like, next year I'll be prepared and able to come. You know, what is it that I'm looking for? How can I get involved? You know, what they have the comprehensive plan going on. What is it that planning's doing? What can I do just beyond outside of the grant period? How can I get connected with Chesapeake Thrives? You know, what are the priority areas? What are the work groups? How is it that my nonprofit can fit? And then also, as you mentioned, how do you know which one to apply for? You know, some it may fit where you're kind of like, oh, maybe I could do both. But no, it's best if you do this one, but there are also different like stipulations. And so it can be very overwhelming when you're looking at it because it seems like it's a long time period because you have a month. But when it goes down to filling out the paperwork and getting everything that you need, it goes by very quickly. And so we really want people to have strong applications. The goal is to get more people involved. We want new nonprofits to come out as well as the existing ones because we want everybody to have the opportunity because there are just a lot of organizations. We know Chesapeake is just a strong community and Hampton Roads overall of organizations that can help. So how can we support each other in those organizations? So if they come out on December 2nd, they can ask us questions. As we mentioned, so this is, I think it's the second year for Human Services, like the third year for the planning department that they utilized an online platform for applications. So we're trying to move into the modern age, no longer paper applications, but that in itself can be overwhelming. So you're like, how do I apply online? Give you the opportunity to come in and see what that platform looks like. What does it involve? And so that's really the goal.
Okay. I like that goal because like you said, it's easier. It's a newer platform to use so people can get an understanding and ask any questions to you all because you said it can be overwhelming because it's different grants for you both, but at the same time, y'all work together and they can just come and have the opportunity to kind of figure out which place they can actually go and actually get funding for. So thank y'all for sharing the information, but I do want you all to kind of share with us where is it that you are hosting the open house and the time frames?
Well, we'll be hosting the open house on December 2nd at Portlock Galleries in South Norfolk. And we're going to offer it 2 times from 10 until 12 on December 2nd, as well as 5:30 to 7:30, so that people have as many opportunities as possible. You can find out more information. We've actually now created a website with, you know, the Human Services Grant information as well as the Community Development Block Grant and Home Grant application information, so they can come on there and get information about that day.
So that's the goal. As we mentioned, we don't want you to have to find where's Waldo, you know, find the information. So which it can be at times. So the city grants portion of the website on the city page has the information on planning grants, art grants. It also links to some other grants that are available in the city, like with fine arts, other funds, because there are resources out there. But once again, it really gets down to awareness. And so that is the goal, especially for us. I mean, we're a little biased, but just so that people are aware of what is out in the community and how they can find out resources and information. So we really encourage people to come on December 2nd. And if they can't, that website is available and to utilize as a resource if they have questions and they can reach out.
All right.
And I think the only other thing, it does have both our plans on the website, so it's easy to find. So as people, well, as community organizations prepare, they can go and see, you know, the consolidated plan, which is what is required for us to do for HUD funding, as well as the Thrives plan. So they can see what those areas are for both of us. And then coming to open house, they'll get to understand maybe there's some gaps that they, you know, can really narrow in to help our community more.
Yes, that's the main goal for the grants, helping our community for sure. Thank you both for joining me today on this episode to talk about community grants. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Chesapeake Thrive Show. We will see you next time.